If I could relive my 30s, I would not. There are moments in life when we sit in silence, not because we have nothing to say, but because our heart is too full of memories. I remember one quiet evening, sitting by the window as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden light across my living room. I looked at my hands, hands that once carried ambition, stress, deadlines, and dreams too big to sleep. I thought about my 30s, the energy, the drive, the hunger to achieve more, to be more, to prove something, maybe even to myself. But I also thought of the things I missed. The dinners I skipped. The walks I never took. The quiet moments with family that I traded for noise and numbers. Back then, I believed I had time, lots of it. And so, I ran fast, thinking the finish line was the goal. Now, with decades behind me, I realize, the real treasure wasn't at the end. It was in the pause, the breath, the heartbeat, the laughter around the dinner table. If I could relive my 30s, I would not trade health for hustle. I would not silence my body when it whispered. I would not postpone joy. This is not a story of regret, but of awakening. Because maybe you're still in your 30s. Or maybe, like me, you're looking back, not to mourn, but to guide. So let's talk. Let's share. Let's reflect on what we wouldn't do again, so we can live better now. I would not trade my health for my work. When I was in my 30s, I believed I was invincible. I thought sleep was optional, meals could be skipped, and stress was just a part of success. I worked late into the night, fueled by ambition and caffeine, convinced that every sacrifice was worth it, for the promotion, the recognition, the security. But now, with the wisdom of time, I see things differently. You can't build a meaningful life on a broken body. You can't enjoy wealth if your heart is weak or your knees can't carry you. There's an old saying. The young trade their health for wealth. The old spend their wealth to regain their health. Painfully true, isn't it? You see, I used to wear my exhaustion like a badge of honor. I was proud of being busy, of saying yes to everything, of pushing through the fatigue. But I didn't know that I was slowly spending the most precious currency I had, my health. If I could relive my 30s, I would pause more. I would say no when my body begged for rest. I would understand that rest is not weakness, it's wisdom. I would choose a walk with my child over one more late-night email. I would listen to my heartbeat instead of my deadlines. Health is not an expense. It's your foundation. Your body is not a machine, it's the home your soul lives in. And if that home breaks down, nothing else matters. So, if you're still pushing yourself too hard, thinking burnout is just part of the journey, let me be your future voice. Stop. Breathe. Rest. You deserve to arrive at old age not just alive, but strong, joyful, and whole. I would not ignore the small signals of my body. In my 30s, I brushed off the warning signs. A little back pain. Just from sitting too long. Headaches. Must be the weather, or maybe stress. Fatigue. I'd sleep when I had time. Everything had an excuse, and every symptom was no big deal. But what I didn't realize was that those small things were whispers. Whispers from my body, trying to tell me something. And because I didn't listen then, I had to face the shout later, at age 60, when those whispers turned into diagnoses, treatments, hospital visits. Health doesn't collapse overnight. It erodes slowly, silently. Think of your body like a tree. If you tend to it while it's still young, water it, protect it, prune the dead branches, it grows strong. But if you ignore it, one storm is all it takes to break it. What I've learned is this. Your body is your oldest and dearest companion. It talks to you every day. A tight chest. A twinge in the back. A sense of fatigue that just won't go away. These aren't complaints. They're conversations. And the worst mistake we can make is not listening. So if I could go back, I would book regular checkups. I would pay attention to every ache. I would treat my health not as an afterthought, but as a priority. Because healing is easier when you start early. And the cost of prevention is always cheaper than the cost of regret. I would not let my mind be filled with worry. In my 30s, my mind was always running. Running after success. Running away from failure. Running in circles, trying to meet expectations of my boss, my family, my friends, and even strangers I barely knew. I was always on. Always thinking. Always calculating. Will I earn enough? Will I be respected? Am I falling behind? From the outside, I looked like I had it together. But on the inside, my heart raced at night. Sleep was shallow. Peace felt like something other people had. Eventually, it caught up with me, chest pains, insomnia, constant fatigue. The body suffers what the mind can't handle. I remember the words of the Buddha. There is no enemy outside that can harm you more than your own uncontrolled mind. And he was right. The real pressure wasn't from the world, it was from my own thoughts, my own worries. If I could relive my 30s, I would give my mind space to breathe. I would meditate more, even just 10 minutes a day. I would walk slowly, drink tea without checking emails, and remind myself, peace is not a luxury, it's a necessity. We don't live twice. So why waste a single day worrying about what you can't control? Let go. Breathe. Be here, fully. Because sometimes, the most successful thing you can do, is to be at peace with yourself. I would not postpone loving myself and my family. Back then, I used to say, I'll spend time with my wife and kids, tomorrow. But tomorrow kept moving further away. Deadlines came first. Business trips. Promotions. Always something more urgent. What I didn't see was that while I was chasing a better future, I was losing the best moments of today. And now, looking back, I realize. Happiness doesn't wait at the finish line. It lives in the tiny, quiet moments we often ignore. The way my daughter used to wait for me at the door. The way my wife looked at me when I finally sat down for dinner. The laughter. The hugs. The warmth of home. I missed some of that. Not because I didn't care, but because I thought I had more time. But love, like life, doesn't come with guarantees. If I could relive my 30s, I would pick up the phone more. I would say, I love you, without needing a reason. I would cook more meals at home. I would let work wait, because emails can wait. People can't. Your presence is the most precious gift you can give. So don't save your love for someday. Love today. Hug today. Laugh today. Because in the end, it's not what you built, it's who you love that will matter most. I would not forget to cultivate wisdom. In my 30s, I read the news more than I read books. I followed trends, I joined debates, I had strong opinions. I heard a lot, but I rarely listened within. I thought I was informed. I thought that was enough. But when I reached 60, with silver hair and a slower pace, I learned something deeper. Wisdom doesn't come with age. It comes with attention, with reflection, with mindful practice, every single day. I began to revisit old books, and found new meanings. I listened to short Dharma talks, and they moved me more than any bestseller ever had. I sat in stillness, and in that silence, I found answers I had never known I was seeking. I came to understand. Wisdom isn't about knowing more than others, it's about understanding yourself and living with peace. If I could relive my 30s, I would spend less time trying to be right, and more time trying to be present. I would trade noisy opinions for quiet contemplation. I would take 10 minutes a day to breathe, to listen, to read something that nourishes the soul, not just the mind. Because in the end, a clear and wise mind is the compass that helps you navigate aging, challenges, and change, with calm and grace. I would not chase someone else's idea of success. At 30, I thought success meant a big house, a fancy car, a title that impressed others, a life that looked good from the outside. Everyone around me seemed to be chasing that, so I did too. I worked late, took promotions I didn't enjoy, smiled at parties where I didn't feel like smiling. And slowly, I lost the one thing that truly mattered, myself. Now, at 60, I finally asked, what is success, if you have to become someone you're not to achieve it? I've come to learn that success is quieter than I thought. It looks like dinner at home with loved ones, a walk in the park with no rush, sleeping well with a peaceful heart. Success, for me now, is not being higher than anyone else, it's being true to who I am. If I could relive my 30s, I'd listen less to what the world tells me to want, and more to what my heart whispers when things are quiet. I'd ask myself, what makes me feel alive, even if no one's watching? Because the truth is, a simple life that fits you is far richer than a grand life that doesn't. And when you live in alignment with your values, you don't need applause. You are already whole. I would not forget to be grateful every single day. In my 30s, I was always chasing more. More success. More income. More recognition. I believed, once I have more, I'll finally be happy. But in that endless chase, I overlooked the simple miracles. Waking up and taking a deep breath, that's a gift. Sharing a meal with loved ones, priceless. Having a parent still around, a spouse still by your side, that's a blessing, not a guarantee. I took so many things for granted, simply because they felt normal. It wasn't until I aged, or almost lost those things, that I realized. Gratitude doesn't come when we finally have enough. It comes when we finally notice what we already have. Now, I practice something simple. Saying, thank you, each morning before I check my phone. Reflecting each night on one beautiful thing, no matter how small. Reminding myself during hard times, as long as I'm breathing, I still have a chance to change. If I could relive my 30s, I would complain less, and smile more. Because the truth is, grateful people don't wait to have it all to be happy, they're happy because they realize each day is a gift. As the Buddha once said, the one who knows they have enough is truly rich. Now, I finally understand, that's not just wisdom. It's the secret to real peace. If I could relive my 30s, I wouldn't try to do everything, I'd focus only on what truly matters. I'd choose rest over burnout. I'd listen to my heart instead of chasing approval. I'd build a life that felt full on the inside, not just impressive on the outside. And if you're in your 60s, 70s, or even beyond, please don't believe it's too late. Because good health doesn't have to start in your youth, it can begin today. And wisdom doesn't only come from the past, it blossoms in every mindful moment. It's not age that makes us old, it's forgetting who we are that drains our spirit. So live the rest of your life as if it's your second chance at 30. But this time, with more clarity, more love, and more vitality. As long as you're breathing, you still have time to grow.